Hi, welcome to the NFPA LiNK YouTube channel. This page is dedicated to answering key questions you have related to electrical and life safety. With easy-to-use digital access to NFPA codes and standards, NFPA LiNK is your window to productivity. Today we've been asked to talk about the requirements around mobile energy storage systems. We'll start off by going to our homepage of NFPA LiNK, and here I have my favorited publications. I'm going to go over to NFPA 855, the 2023 edition, and this is the standard for the installation of stationary energy storage systems. I'll go ahead and click on it. Now before we dive into this, you might be thinking, this is the installation of stationary energy storage systems. Why are we going here for mobile energy storage systems? The answer to that can be found in Chapter 1. Chapter 1 is going to tell us that within the scope that this does apply to mobile and portable energy storage systems installed in a stationary situation. So, now that we know that NFPA 855 addresses mobile energy storage systems, how can we go about finding where the requirements are? I'm going to use the search function here. I did this already, so you type in mobile, you hit enter or click on this magnifying glass here, and you can see that the requirements are in Chapter 4, Chapter 9, and there's a definition in Chapter 3 for what a mobile energy storage system is. I'll look at this first one, 4.10. It says mobile energy storage system equipment and operations shall comply with 9.5.3.2 as applicable. And then the second one right here is 9.5.3.2. I'm going to go ahead and click on this. So this brings us over to where we want to be, 9.5.3.2. And you can see here by the change indicators that these are all new sections to the 2023 edition. So let's go through. First, it tells you a little bit about charging and storage, what it means, as well as some exemptions for lead acid and nickel cadmium battery systems. Then I'll talk a little bit about what deployment means and approved locations. Then we go to local staging, and this kind of gets into how NFPA 855 buckets the requirements for mobile energy storage system. I like to think of it as 3 buckets or 3 phases, with the first being charging and storage, which is where your energy storage system is going to be charging or stored at full charge. Then there's going to be in transit, so when you're moving from that storage location to wherever you're going to be deployed. And then finally, deployment, where your energy storage system is going to be deployed to provide electrical energy wherever it's needed. So it's a little bit out of order here, but this is what I think of phase 2. So once it's in transit, there are some local staging requirements. Basically, you can't be within 100 feet of an occupied building for more than 1 hour during transit, unless specifically approved in advance by the AHJ, which we'll talk about a little bit later on once we look at the permit application for having a mobile energy storage system. Next, we have charging and storage requirements. So there are a lot of charging and storage requirements here that talk about the requirements, but basically we are pretty much going to treat this similar to a permanent installation. And this is going to point to those requirements earlier in this chapter, Chapter 9, which talks about electrochemical energy storage systems. So it's going to point you back to a couple of sections based on whether you're indoor, outdoor, or on a rooftop or open parking garage. Then we'll go down, and the deployment requirements are what make up a majority of this section. So I'm not going to go in this as much detail, but I'll highlight a couple of key points as I scroll through. One of those is that deployment documents are going to be required. So you do need to provide information to your authority having jurisdiction to apply for a permit for mobile energy storage system deployments. And then this is a 9-item, this can basically be a checklist of what you're required to provide to your AHJ to make sure that they are okay with you providing mobile energy storage systems in that jurisdiction. Something else that's really important to note here is the duration. So mobile energy storage system deployments that provide power for durations longer than 30 days are going to comply with 9.5.3.2.5. And once we go back to that, that's going to be your charging and storage, which is also going to kick you back to those permanent installations. So this is kind of what defines that temporary installation, is no longer than 30 days. Continue down here. There's going to be fencing requirements as well. That's going to require fencing to keep the general public at least 5 feet from the outer enclosure of a deployed mobile energy storage system. So, I know that's not much, but there are some requirements for mobile energy storage systems within NFPA 855, the 2023 edition. We hope that provides some insight into mobile energy storage systems. For more information about how NFPA LiNK gives you the knowledge you need to get the job done right, visit nfpa.org/link.